Purple Rose Theater, staging the production In Common. We welcome the director, Rhiannon Ragland, and actors, Caitlin Kavanaugh and Des Walker. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Fire. It's great to be here.
A couple of veterans of Purple Rose and veterans of our show.
So, did you just call us old?
Yes.
Is that what happened? Okay, it's fine.
Seasoned.
Seasoned. Well
Yeah.
seasoned. Yes.
Seasoned. Well, I'm excited to see the show in person because I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
But how many shows have you done at Purple Rose?
Oh gosh, I math a lot. Probably, I think, I don't know, 20 something maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I've been very lucky.
Well, that says you love it, and
I do.
they love you.
Yeah. It's very reciprocal. All the love. Yeah.
And I think the last time I saw you was on stage. I think you're one of the Sherlock Holmes shows.
I was in the Sherlock Holmes.
And Harvey too, right?
I was in Harvey. That was my first show at the Rose, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So you've been in several issues as well.
It is true.
Yeah.
Also seasoned.
And Des, you're seasoned as well, but not so much with Purple Rose.
Yes, I'm a seasoned Purple Rose baby. So I'm a seasoned baby. So it was the first show at the Purple Rose, but not first show in theater. But yeah.
So In Common, it's by a playwright who's actually written quite a few things, not just plays, but stories, articles, essays. Tell us a little bit about what the show In Common is about.
Quindy Eli is the playwright, and the play kind of came to us. He submitted to another theater in Michigan. He submitted to quite a few theaters, and they did a reading there. And then one of the actors who's currently in the show was actually the one who then brought it to the Purple Rose. But now I forgot what he called it a
Serial comic interracial ghost story.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
The old serial comic interracial ghost story.
One of those old hats. Yeah. But it's a really lovely story about this woman and her best friend. And they lost each other at one point, but have in some other realm or in her mind is unanswered, but they have stayed connected through her life.
Yeah.
And
I think also like there's a sense of what is in your life and what you're supposed to be, and what you're willing to sacrifice to live up to what you're supposed to be, rather than what might be true to what you really need or who you really are.
So your character, are you seeing ghosts?
Oh, maybe. Who doesn't though? Yes.
And so your friend is the one that died before the show, sometime in the past.
Yes.
And Des, are you the friend?
Maybe.
Yes.
Yes, I am. Yes. Yes. Yeah, and it's it deals with issues about the death and how the death came about and how her character is dealing with it. Intertwining with her everyday life as well. So. Yeah.
And also, like, it's funny though because I don't know, as many people have gone through grief, and you kind of have to have to survive it. You have to look at the comedy too. So I think that's what's really great about this play is that there's so much joy and love and comedy within a really tragic situation. I was actually talking recently to somebody, another young woman, talking about how there's not a lot of roles where there are strong women that bad things happen to, and like strong, funny, like most women I know, there's a lot of like kind of victimized roles or things where they're not in control of their own story, and these horrible things happen to them, and it's a lot of like and the show isn't that, it's like actually kind of remarkable. And I told Quinn this very early on when we first did a reading of it, is that I'm so grateful to be able to have roles where there's 3 strong women in this show, and hard things happen, like all of us who have hard things happen in our life, and they deal with it, and we get to see that.
All right, Caitlin. Now, one of the things that popped out to me when I was reading about the show was that casting was specific about the race of the actor. Des, the part you play, it has to be a black actor. What is the significance of race in the show?
The significance of race, it deals with issues that we are still dealing with today. And just fear of what you don't understand, basically. And then how other people are looking at those situations and how other people are dealing with those situations, or finding that within themselves, maybe they have certain ways that they feel about racial issues that come up to the forefront.
So it's socially relevant.
Socially relevant,
Yeah.
yes.
Now you mentioned dealing with grief, and I happened to take a look at your Instagram earlier today, Des, and you lost someone close to you
Yes.
recently.
Yes, my grandmother.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
But I also want to hear about your grandmother's cornbread stuffing recipe.
Oh yes, yes. She was that woman. She instilled a love of cooking in me because she cooked every day. So the entire time I only lived with her for about a year to give my mom a little break from me. And the entire time I lived in Alabama with her, she cooked every single day. Besides maybe a couple Saturdays when we had cereal, but outside of that, she was making homemade biscuits, homemade cornbread, like the whole nine. And yeah, greens every Sunday evening. So
You've inherited her talent for cooking.
I've tried to steal some of it, yeah.
And I couldn't believe this, but at 4 o'clock in some hotel room in Minnesota, you've got a hot plate and a crock pot and
Yeah.
a toaster oven, or you're cooking in a hotel room.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat wherever I am. It doesn't matter where I am. I'm
Bart
gonna
went
eat.
deep. Are we going to talk about it? Deep dive. You did a deep
Well, I
dive
just couldn't
into the Instagram. Bart is all about the research.
Well, I think it's important, food.
Yeah,
'cause
it is.
I
Right?
think, yeah.
If a foodie finds another foodie,
That's
I know
right.
how you do.
And it's
Yes.
a way that, honestly, food is a way that I show love, and that's how it was shown love to me growing up. Whenever we have a family dinner or some sort of holiday, it was a bunch of food, just a ton of food, and food makes everybody happy. You do a little happy dance when you're eating, so it's yeah.
So this show, since the writer actually he pitched the show to several theaters, what made you bite?
I think just what it did say socially, and we looked at, I love how stories sort of reveal the human heart, and how we do that is through humor. And Quinn had a point in the story about finding all of these, right? There's all of these diverse people who, if you look at them and sort of judge them from the outside, you think maybe they don't have as much in common. But if you look at our lives and how we deal with things, how we deal with grief together, how we deal with being confronted with racist incidents together, how we deal with love and finding love, and how awkward that is and how bad we are at it, that we actually have so much more in common than we do that separates us. And he was able to tell a story that highlighted that used humor to reveal how these people are, that they're dealing with grief and loss and love and racism, but they're farther removed from it, and it reveals their humanity with a sense of humor, and they find all of these things in common. It's about trying to find your tribe together. And it was just a great, great story and the right time to tell it.
So the feeling the audience has when it's over, walking out, what are they? Because we've had an audience already.
Yeah.
What's been the response? Is it eye-opening, or is it the people are laughing and there's something they want to continue a conversation about?
I think it's all of it, really. That's the great thing about theater, is that you can come and you see the same exact show as everyone else, but you leave individually affected. It's how you perceive that story. So some people have left and came back like the next day. She came back to a show the next day. She's like, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. These certain moments. Yeah. She's like, I have. Yeah. I'm not supposed to tell them that. They don't know this, but they're fine.
It makes you feel better though.
Yeah, I think
Don't
really
make
good.
sure the actors don't see their positive reviews.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just so enthralled by it that she had to come back, and some people are sort of came in thinking, oh, this seemed much more like a drama, and I was ready for this sort of heavy topic thing, and I was laughing with my friends, but also learned something. So I think you get to leave with more than you came in with, but what that is, we try not to determine. Yeah.
It sounds like that's almost a hallmark of a Purple Rose play.
We really do. We really try to find stories that use humor and that speak to something and say something, but we try not to tell you how to feel about it. We try to give you something so that you leave a little bigger, a little broader, and a little lighter, hopefully, but try not to tell you what to think about something.
Now, I've seen ghosts on stage at Purple Rose, part of the show. In fact, Sherlock.
Oh, sure,
There
yeah.
was a ghost.
Lots
you
of
knew it was a
ghosts.
ghost because the music, and then there was like dry ice and stuff. And so is the ghost in common? Does he appear like that?
I think it's more realistic in this
Okay.
one, I guess. I think anybody who's had someone pass where you like have conversations with the person, you sometimes see them maybe, like I think it's very reminiscent of that, where you're like, man, it was like they were right here, you know? It's kind of like that.
Well, Caitlin has been in Chicago for the series Chicago Fire, and interestingly, just about a month ago, we had an actor from Chicago Fire on the show, and before the show, I asked you, what's Dick Wolf like? And the actor, she didn't know either. He doesn't show up on the show.
If he does, it's out of my circle. But everyone was very nice. Everyone that was there. I was in like a stretcher and opened my eyes, and the cast was around me above my head. I was like, oh, hi. And they were like, what's going
It
on?
seems like Dick Wolf doesn't want people to be happy.
I lived in it. Horrible car wreck, and I lived.
Oh, you
so,
made it through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tough.
He doesn't
a
kill
good
off
dad out there.
everybody.
My 4-year-old lived too, so you know, good times.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, it's neat to have actors from all different experiences, and one of yours does last fall. You were one of the actors that acted with high school students at a
Yeah.
high school play.
Yeah.
What was that about? Were you trying to teach the craft?
Yeah, it was with Who Wants Cake Theater, the Ringwald Theater, and Ferndale High School, joint production of Head Over Heels, the Go-Go's musical. But it was all the adults were played by professional actors, and the kids, the children, were played by high schoolers. So for me, it was actually really cool to see, because where I went to high school, we didn't have a theater program. I went to Detroit Public Schools, and not a lot have theater programs. So we didn't have a theater program, so I got into it a little later. So to see these high school kids jumping head first and like giving it their all, and it was just very inspiring, and it was a really cool activity. I'm still in contact with some of them from that show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, not in a creepy way, just
Mentor
In a
way.
very
Mentor.
mentor
Yes.
professional.
Yes, professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pen pals. So high school kids, it's suitable for maybe high school kids. It's an adult show, right?
You know, it has very adult themes in it, but again, in not telling people how to think or how to feel, I think, you know, a parent kind of has to make that judgment on their own. But I don't think that there's anything in there that's worrisome. I don't think that there's anything in there that, I think we don't give kids enough credit. Like, you know, they have crushes on each other, and so they know what love is, whether it's familial or outside of that. They've dealt with loss. I'm certain that there's, you know, been a great-grandparent or a grandparent or a family friend. And so, you know, while these are very adult themes, and while the actors deal with it very badly. So it's a little bit funny at times.
Well,
I
you
don't
know,
think that there's anything that would be beyond them or inappropriate in any way, but it's, you know, it's contemporary adults.
And it's like opportunity for talking about
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
big things with
Yeah.
perhaps
yeah,
teenagers.
and people
you
you
know?
want to talk about the show.
Yeah.
After the show, you go get some dessert at Common Grill after seeing In Common.
There you go, right?
So I typically don't want to know too much about a show ahead of time. And then I saw Hamilton. And then I realized I really do want to know more about the show before I go.
But isn't that a great, but it made you go do homework, which
Yeah.
is inspiring, which I think is like the better turn, that you didn't know everything before you got there, that you were inspired by the show to go learn something else.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to take the other tack, Barb.
All right. Well, I'm anxious to see the show. It runs through June 3rd.
June 3rd. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah,
And tickets are now available.
they are indeed.
Visit the website and make a plan to see In Common. Well, we appreciate you guys coming over today.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you so
Bart.
much.
It's always
Yeah.
great to do this with you.
Yeah, have a great run.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Have a great rest of your show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In Common at the Purple Rose Theater with Rhiannon Ragland and Caitlin Kavanaugh and Des Walker.